Hey everybody, it's Joe from House of Stereo and
Steve Deharde from House of Stereo, Central Florida.
And Christmas has come a little bit early. Our H600 arrived yesterday, and we wanted to pull it out of the box, take a look at it. Steve knows a lot about this H600, so he's going to talk a bit about it. But let's see what we've got.
Nice and double boxed.
Thank you for choosing our reference product, designed and developed in Norway. This represents the pinnacle of our audio engineering, and we are confident it will bring you many years of musical enjoyment. Brent Holter, founder of Hegel Music Systems. So very cool. And is this the, so inside we have the user manual, the Hegel remote that we're all familiar with, and then the power cable that we're going to save in case Grandma needs a power cable.
Exactly.
Honestly. Yeah. All right, so let's put this over to the side. Okay, what have we got? All right, this is nice. This is a really good presentation. So great little Hegel sock here. And all right, so we're at the front. So why don't I do this? If I pick it up, you want to pull this box out behind us? Okay. All right, so first and foremost, what's new about the Hegel?
Yep, so this is the replacement for the 590. And since we're opening to the back, we can start there. Primarily, the difference in the back is it's much higher quality RCAs and Nutric XLR connectors.
Oh yeah.
Which are completely different than what was on the 590, much higher quality. Yep, so new air vents. This is thicker top with more resonance control.
Yeah, this feels like a different beast entirely. So, new DAC, right?
New DAC, yep.
Okay.
And yeah, since the AKM chip, the factory fires, they weren't able to get the AKM check. They decided to switch to Burr Brown.
Okay.
And it's a bit perfect DAC. There's no upsampling. So this is a streamer and a DAC and a preamp and a power amp all in one.
Yeah, this is so. And just from my experience with our 590 over there in the back, they've new speaker terminals. So the new RCAs, the new XLRs. A better DAC. I think it's 1 watt more power.
2 watts.
2 watts more power. But the difference is they Sound Engine 2 is what they had in the 590. Mm-hmm. Is it a new sound engine or just a new architecture? How
it's a variation on Sound Engine 2.
Okay.
But they have it's a higher current capability.
Okay.
They changed the preamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the main difference, and the focus is on the preamp section and the volume control.
And what was already a very, very, very good component, the 590 is one of my favorites. And you know, the hi-fi guy in me likes separates. I like to have,
right.
But there's no denying that with our 590, I kind of unlearned that preference. I really, you can have everything in one box. This was one of the, and of course there are higher quality, higher cost integrated amplifiers out there, but really it was the 590 that turned the tide in my mind. This is the one that made me say, okay, you know, we can just have one box and be fine.
And that's interesting that you say that, because one of the things they really concentrated on with this was separating the power supplies.
Yeah.
So you don't get any interference between the power supply for the preamp. It has a dual mono power supply for the amplifiers.
Oh wow!
It's a separate power supplies for the DAC. Everything. Okay. So they really went to great lengths to make it perform like a separate.
Right.
But have the convenience of an all-in-one.
So that's interesting. So I know that the preamp section has been redesigned, and I know that Hegel kind of looked at it and acknowledged that it was a bit of not a weak point, but they wanted to make the 590 pre better. They were just hampered by time and cost, I assume. So this iteration, going from a 590 to a 600, is truly an evolution. It's not just another product because we need to sell more boxes. They've put a lot of time and thought and energy into creating, the best integrated that they can. So similar design features. It's obviously Hegel. This waffle front top is very nice. It is thicker. It feels more substantial. And looking at the back is beautiful. So it is the standard, the Hegel 3-foot solution. So 2 in the front and 1 pedestal in the back. And that's nice if you're like me. I like to put still points under everything. So not having to buy 4 still points, only buying 3, always great.
Not to mention that 3 is a lot easier to level than 4.
Yep, exactly. Let's open it up and take a look. So as you can see, my personal toolkit returned to Joe's desk. On it,
Upon penalty of death.
Oh gosh, if I didn't have that, God knows where it would be in this building right now. Okay, let's take a look.
Voila.
That is a big-ass transformer. Phenomenal heat sinks. All right, so Steve, what do we got going on here?
Well, obviously we got, a heck of a large Toyota transformer with a couple different power feeds. We got dual mono design, so we have 2 big heat sinks. You can see all the output transistors there. This is the new DAC board right on top.
Oh, this is the new DAC?
Yep.
Okay, all right, so the XMOS chip.
There's an XMOS chip, yep.
All right, and no, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good design. It's on the level of, I think of T+A design as some of the best, the most well thought out, and this is really making me, it's kind of reminiscent of the T+A designs that we've seen. So DSD 512, I'm assuming.
Well, 256.
256.
256 and 384 PCM.
Okay.
So and it's UPnP. It's Rune.
Ready. Or
yep.
will be.
Will be. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
AirPlay and all that stuff. So it pretty much any way you want to stream, you can.
All right, so digital out. So, and one thing that we should mention, in here, let's turn it around and talk about it. So, and by the way, like all Hegel devices, the power button is up in the front underneath the panel on the bottom side. So, this DAC is interesting, so they've included a digital out. So you can bypass or run it onto a secondary system. We have the additional the BNC input, coaxial digital RCA input, optical 1, 2, and 3, USB, and network. So it's a fully fledged DAC. It gives you a ton of capability. What we see a lot of our customers do is they'll come out of their cable box or their television with an optical cable, USB for their Wolf or whatever server they choose to use. Some of the higher end, the Arenders and whatnot, using BNC or digital RCA is also pretty de rigueur. Now, there isn't an AES EBU, and that's okay. So as far as the analog inputs, we have, and I guess there are no. All right, so we have line level outputs here. Is this dual XLR? And I'm sorry, is it you have 2 balanced inputs?
Yep, you got 2 XLR inputs. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So I don't remember now, because I didn't hook things up to it very often aside from a USB server or the 1 XLR from my phonostage, but is there now 2 where there was 1 before on the 590?
I wish I had that answer.
Yeah, I got to go back and look.
Yep. Something I noticed really important here too. Notice how the speaker binding posts are pure copper.
Yeah.
There's no ferrous metal in that path.
Right.
Which is that's something that you don't see usually unless you get into real high-end stuff.
Right. And then a good resistors. I mean, this is high tech, guys. It's really badass. So what I want to do is I want to button this back up, and I want to take this directly to the high-end room, because this is a high-end integrated amplifier. It deserves to live in our high-end room, and I think the inaugural play should be on the Maggie 20.7s. I think that's what we should do.
Might as well test them out. A tough speaker to drive. Let's see what it can do.
Yeah, because these go down. I mean, this can handle 2 ohm loads easily.
Yep, and I saw a test in Soundstage, their independent testing. It was over 1,000 watts into 2 ohms, stable. So it's a beast.
Yeah. All right, stand by, guys. We're going to button it up and get it playing. All right, so, and I don't know if you guys can see, but always, 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 if you are working on your stereo system, take your shoes off. You want to be able to feel what you're stepping on when you're walking behind the rack. So what we've got here is Synergistic Research cabling. I have the Synergistic Research Galileo SX speaker cables, and this is the Galileo Ethernet cable. I'm going to have to find an extension cable to ground the Ethernet cable to our grounding block. But then this piece here, and you might be able to see, these are tuning bullets. And what they're doing is they're actually ferrous, and they're tuning the shielding of the cables. Now, I know you're a skeptic. I will freely admit I was very skeptical too. Mm-hmm. In fact, and I've told this story to Synergistic, so I'm not worried about, I'm not spilling secrets here, but they wanted to work with us here at House of Stereo, and I always put them off on one pretext or another because I just didn't understand some of it. Some of this technology, the shielding, the radio frequency and electromagnetic rejection technologies, I didn't fully understand. So I had them send me about 3 trunks worth of stuff, and they said, well, we're going to send our sales guy out too. And I said, no, I want to play with it for 30 days before your sales guy shows up, so that I have the time, without someone yapping in my ear, to evaluate this on its own merits. All right. So 30 days elapses. We were over in temp space, which means the temp space was really hard to hear nuance in audio and all of that. But even in that very imperfect space, put it this way, as soon as the sales guy showed up, we signed up. Wow. So we had the ability to play with this stuff in a vacuum, in our own time, and kind of figure things out. We did it wrong, we did it right, we figured out the way to do things, and I'm a believer. I'm a big believer in power cables and speaker cables, in OCC copper and silver, and all of the technologies that Synergistic utilizes. I'm a believer in. Now, I will say that price to performance is very important to me. So there are going to always be technologies, and not just Synergistic, any cable company, any amplifier company, where I say, the cost is too high relative to the amount of performance. Although it must be said that I have not yet run into this. So even their top-of-the-line SRX power cables that we're using here, they're the most expensive they make, and unfortunately, they work. So anyways, what we're doing here, we have a couple of the tuning bullets. Gold is usually a warmer sound stage. You can actually warm up your system a little bit by using the gold cables. And that's kind of my default. That's where I get started. There's also this new one, and as you can see, it's iridescent. I need to do some research to figure out what this one is, but I'm very excited to test it. And then I've got to find the right ground cable extension so that I can hook this up and ground the Ethernet cable to the grounding block over there. So stand by.
Maybe that makes the music psychedelic.
It might. It might.
You never know.
It's,
We should be listening to something from the late '60s then.
Well, and I think we will. Yeah. So, you're right. You and I need to spend some time. I know that you're a skeptic, so I want to spend some time with you and let you A/B this stuff and tell me what your findings are.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah. I think that's super important. I think it's super worthwhile. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hand that to you.
Okay.
Hold that end.
All right.
Okay. We're going to unplug this one because it's the wrong one. This one is the right one.
Okay.
All right. So
Plug that in
right
here?
there. Yep. Right there on that little. All right. And so now that Ethernet cable is grounded and we're ready to listen.
Okay.
Okay, this is the inaugural listen to the H600 HV.
Holter, leaning on the ball. Bartender's reminiscing about something that happened way back in the war.
Oh yeah,
Come stand behind me and listen.
yeah, and it was behind the wall.
Let's go down to Boa Vista
This
Cafe.
micro sounds were behind the front wall.
Irish coffee or
It's
two.
super deep.
We might meet that girl down from Oakland. I hope you don't remember that remark you made. New Year's Eve on the waterfront. New Year's Eve on the waterfront. Fires rolling in from the ocean.
Just goes to show if you have the right amp and you get the backing out far enough, they have good bass.
Oh, yeah. Well, my first experience with 1.7s and bass, we put an audience power cable on a Conrad Johnson amp, and all of a sudden we had bass where we never had it before. That's the day I fell in love with power cables.
You did you right on the cable car? I'll give you a quote from Kerouac. The cheers and the dragon through Chinatown, and the fathers rolling in from the sea. Tomorrow we'll cross the bridge to Sausalito. We'll head up north along the coast. Into the slide area. Boy, I'm in the slide area right now.
Pretty good.
Really good.
New Year's Eve on the waterfront.
So it belongs in the high end room. It's going to live in
New
here.
Year's Eve on the waterfront.
I don't hear any deficiencies.
sea. New Year's Eve on the waterfront. New Year's Eve on the waterfront. The fog is rolling in from the ocean, and it's New Year's Eve on the waterfront.
There we go. I'm gonna switch. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. It's not gonna work because I'm doing dual banjos. We'll wait
I always said you have to spend a lot of money to make Maggie's.
Yeah. Well, that's
You
the
have the right thing driving.
that's the magic of Magnaband.
You know, especially if you're not playing at 110 dB. If you're not that kind of person.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna try it now. Okay, so we just cut in, and this is all right. I'm sending DSD audio over AirPlay.
Okay.
Now it is converting. So this is DSD 128. It's converting it down to 352. So it's converting down. That's inescapable. But let's see how this sounds. Now when Rune Ready comes in, we may be in an entirely different ball game. But this is
Yeah.
great to get started.
They hung a sign up in our town. If you live it up, you won't live it down. So she left Monterey, son. Just like a bullet, leave a gun. The charcoal eyes and Monroe hips. She went and took that California trip. The moon was cold, her hair like wind. She said, don't look back, just come on, Jim. Oh, you gotta hold on, hold on. You gotta hold on, take my hand. Standing right here, you gotta hold on. He gave her a dime store watch and a ring made from a spoon. Everyone's looking for someone to blame. When you share my bed, you share my name. So go ahead and call the cops. You don't meet nice girls in coffee shops. She said, baby, I still love you. Sometimes there's nothing left to do. Oh, you gotta hold on, hold on. You gotta hold on, take my hand. Stand right here, you gotta hold on. God bless your crooked little heart. St. Louis, God bless.
That song this is Amber Rubarth, and I feel like this song is made for Maggie's because of it's very delicate. There's a lot of very low level, those bongos sound, they're supposed to be very quiet. It's really neat.
And yet it's fairly a dynamic song too.
Yeah. Oh.
I think we're showing that it has no problem driving them.
Yeah. Oh, this is
Yeah, it's
and so
not even trying.
now we turned it way up, but this is a very, very quiet track, and it's DSD, so there's a 6 decibel shift. So that's why I went ahead and turned it down now, because if Rune goes and plays a PCM file, it's gonna wake us up real fast. All right, I'm liking it. I want to leave it running for a bit, let it warm up some more, and revisit. But for now, we're gonna end recording. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.